You're watching TRT World's continuing coverage of the earthquakes that have hit southern Turkey. I'm Imran Garda. Thousands of survivors of last week's earthquakes are receiving treatment in many hospitals around the country, including in Istanbul. But despite being in safe hands far from the disaster zone, many of the patients have mixed emotions as they reflect and recover. Esra Dürüst went to find out their stories.
Hospitals across Istanbul are working non-stop to treat the survivors of last week's earthquakes. Başakşehir Çamansakura City Hospital is one of them, and the patients here are still in a state of shock. Like most of his neighbors, Hacı Bayram Köroğlu was asleep when the first quake struck Malatya in the early hours of Monday morning, shortly before more than 1,000 buildings collapsed.
I'm 38 years old, but it felt like another 38 years passed in those 4 hours.
He says he tried to shield his 8-year-old son Ömer Efe, but the moment they opened their eyes, they were already under the rubble of their 6th-floor apartment.
My son's leg was broken. The wardrobe door fell off. My lower back was stuck under the closet, and a wall had trapped my legs. We were under the rubble for about 3.5–4 hours. My friends, my wife, and relatives pulled us out. Maybe it's destiny, I don't know. Our quick exit at that moment, at that hour. I think we must have more breaths to take and meals to eat, thank God.
The Kılın family were also on the 5th floor of a 6-story building in Hatay. But their rescue operation took 4 days and only one of them made it out alive. Now, Hülya Kılın is in intensive care, unsure whether one of her sons is still alive. Her other son and husband both died. Kılın's siblings and relatives are hoping to reunite with her again after waiting for more than 94 hours beside the rubble.
I experienced desperation for the first time and the importance of racing against minutes and even seconds. I felt so helpless that I had crying fits. We tried to calm the children under the wreckage until the morning. We assured them that we would come.
And on the second day, he was helped by miners from the western town of Soma as they tried their best to clear the debris.
It comes into my dreams at night. Now when I close my eyes, I see what we went through. I don't know how we will get over this trauma. May God help our country.
So far, 950 patients have been brought to Başakşehir Çamansakura City Hospital, with some of them already discharged. Dr. Emrah Kovalak says the orthopedics department currently has 125 patients, although this number can change every hour.
Our patients are generally in stable condition. They've mostly sustained crush injuries. They have fractures. Patients in intensive care are also getting better by the day.
Dr. Özlem Altuntaş Aydın says crush injuries can also lead to infection and that access to clean water and sanitation right now is vital to prevent the spread of diseases.
After such disasters, we often see more infections in earthquake victims due to these kind of crash injuries. And after the 4th and 5th day, infections can increase due to a lack of access to clean water and food. Later, we may see the spread of COVID-19, influenza, pneumonia, and other upper respiratory tract infections, as well as meningitis, which are transmitted through droplets, especially if people are crowded into small areas.
Murat Esici had sustained a broken leg in Gaziantep after his door became stuck during the quake and left him with no other option than to jump out of the 2nd floor.
I am calm right now, but when I return to those moments, they appear in front of my eyes over and over again. Even when the bed just so happens to shake, I worry it's another earthquake.
Survivors here are still having trouble coming to terms with what they've just endured. And while their injuries may soon heal, they will need a lot more time to even begin to shake off the trauma, or to be convinced that the worst may now be behind them. Esra Dürüst, TRT World.
Well, joining me now